What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Presidential Executive. What's going on? This is your boy right here, JB. This is my homie over here, El Presidente Rag. What it do, man?
Man, what's going on, bro?
What it do? We go ahead and get, over with the pleasantries and everything. But if you're watching this right now, go ahead and like that video right now. We're wherever that you record podcasts. Rag, where we at, man?
Man, we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher.
There we go.
Actually, I like how you cover. I sure wasn't experienced like, but I'm open though. I got you.
You got it.
I thought you was finna take the shot. I was sitting over there watching.
You took that.
You J.R. Smith me.
You completed the alley-oop. You
Hey.
completed the alley-oop. You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. I want to get straight into it. I want to get back to doing this live, and so whatever with that. But I wanted to get a guest on today, but who I tried to get on wasn't actually available this evening. But I thought about kind of what we can get into today. It's a couple of things. I know we're talking about the disrespect of black women. We probably get into a little bit of that. Right. You know what I'm saying? But then also, what prompted me with this about the emasculation was honestly the Apostle Wade. You know what I'm saying? We he kind of, it wasn't his message, but he talked about it in the message or whatever, right? And so, and we talked about it, I think, probably in and out of different pods and stuff like that, alluding to it, saying it directly. You know what I'm saying? So, we want to talk about the emasculation of men, not only black men, but just men in general. And so a lot of stuff and that's the one thing I think about being content creators is however you get the people is what you got to continue to do to keep them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So however so that's why you just try to be yourself. That's why I do me. You know what I'm saying? I put out stuff, whatever conservative, you talking about Trump or whatever like that, because if it hit, I'm not going to be somebody that I'm not. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You yourself, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be who you be. People may call you misogynist or, you know what I'm saying, mannish or whatever like that. But at the end of the day, we're the type of dudes that, you know what I'm saying, you know who our pops are.
Right.
Or was in my case, you know what I'm saying, as far as earthly wise. And so if you knew my pops, he was very managed, very masculine, you know what I'm saying, to the degree of, a lot of people in church wise was trying to not give him a platform to say the things that he needed to say about the Christian family that they figured that was quote unquote kind of barbaric or Viking or, you know what I'm saying, out of date, that didn't, you know what I'm saying, go with
and then with his
flow.
voice too, you hear him talk.
Yeah, the voice didn't really gonna go with, you know what I'm saying, with the message he was trying to do, right? So it was kind of like a double whammy with that. But this has been going on for a long time, Rag, and so now we see it kind of come to almost the head of it. But if we look at it from years back, it was just we was getting prepped, you know what I'm saying, for years and years, from the late 80s into the 90s, definitely in the 2000s and stuff like that, to where you see where society was really trying to emasculate men, but you know what I'm saying, they kind of tried to flip it and make it seem like something that it wasn't, or even in a lot of situations too, gospelize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to put it in there to where it was well, we're going to get into it. But I want to first get your, you know what I'm saying, your view of the whole emasculation thing, and we can just kind of run off and do what we do.
I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum, for the last, this is season 5, so I guess the previous 4 seasons, we've always had an episode or 5 where it came up, as you said, directly, indirectly, when we've had some guests on, things that we talked about, whether it was Roberta on here or when Alexis was on here, or I'm trying to think of what other, in the last few seasons, we've had quite a few.
Nate?
Yeah. Nate.
A little bit with
Queen Jasira.
Queen Jasira, yeah.
But we've talked about things like how important it is to have that impact, but then also the negative effects of what society has been pushing, you know. And I think like with anything, you know what I'm saying, like it starts off to really go against people who look like us, and then it ends up where everybody catch it, and then it end up doing something that they don't want it to do, and now it's a much bigger problem than what it initially was.
No, it's definitely an issue, and so as much as an issue to where, if you want to go back to the roots of it, it goes back to, kind of how a lot of single parent homes, single mother homes, and then it can kind of go back to like, why is that child or children in that single parent home? What happened in that relationship or something between that man and that woman that actually happened that made the child to be, you know what I'm saying, in that single parent home? And so I kind of wanted to break it down in like, because I think you have a society part about it, like the part that the media plays in it, and then you actually have a little bit of the natural part, I think, that allows men, because at the end of the let's put this out up front, like men have testosterone, women have is called estrogen, right? And so men, we're born with it, right? And so the older we get, naturally, it constantly decreases. Now this depending on the particular person, lifestyle, diet, stuff like that. Actually, I went to the vitamin shop to get it was something about to help with the testosterone and do stuff like that, just to get other people, have teas diet. I think broccoli and kale, dietary wise, is good for the man's testosterone levels and stuff like that. So that's natural.
Go to the Memphis Men's Clinic.
Memphis Men's Clinic.
They do. You can get like I know we don't normally like the bang bang, but it is. Yeah. The benefit of getting a shot is boost. It goes straight to your, like getting a B12 shot, like it goes straight to your bloodstream.
Yeah. Yep. That's real.
And it like you can get it. I don't know how often it is, but one of my homeboys, he used to go, and it was like twice a month, I think. He was going. And I forget how much of it, but it's that's
was it like way. A testosterone boost?
Yeah, like it's a shot. Like it boosts your testosterone. Like it was a shot.
Okay.
It boosts your testosterone.
Okay. How did it work for him?
Nah, it was working good.
Okay.
Yeah, his insurance covered it, so
okay.
He definitely was going. But he said even if you don't got insurance, I want to say it was like $40 a month, basically.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying. So however many times you went within that, like that $40. Like the $40 on
right.
What is that ATM? You see the meme where dude said they wearing the $40 button out at the ATM. But you get your $40, you be good to go.
Okay. See, and I'm just kind of now getting hip to it as far as like dietary wise, you just want to live healthy as far as getting your vitamin C, vitamin stuff like that. But then the other part about it, honestly, up until recently, maybe a year or two ago, I just didn't realize that men's testosterone declines kind of as you get older naturally. Obviously, like I said, depending on your lifestyle, your diet, and stuff like that. So, unless you just eating clean, you know what I'm saying, and doing stuff like that the way they kind of do foods, it kind of is what it is. Now that's the natural part, but the real part about it is the society, the media part about it, right? Was really wanted to hit on. And I actually was sending you some videos on Instagram the past week or two that was, kind of hit on a couple things that was, kind of hit on it. And so one of those things.
Look, I thought it was just motivation for it. I was like,
it is that too. It was that too.
I was like, man, you read my mind. I was like, so I didn't know it was like
it was
yes sir.
It was dual benefit. But it just happened to punch right into this whole emasculation thing. Like we know the term, the happy wife, happy life, right? The happy wife, happy life. I don't know where it came from. I've heard it years, even way before I was married. In the church, I think I probably heard it from in the church, maybe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? First, men that have experienced marriage, that have been in a marriage, and so, hey, bro, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got da. And so, we know we grew up in the same church. We know men that lived by it. We saw the distinction of how they acted right here, and so when their wife got around, it was, you know what I'm saying, they really couldn't put their foot down or say anything around it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that whole myth right there, the happy wife, happy life, which honestly, what you should be, we would say happy house,
spouse, happy house.
Happy house, happy spouse, right? Yeah, happy house, happy spouse. And so from a society and media point of view, I think that's kind of even where it starts, because we know, I want to bring up an example, but I didn't want to put no names out there. You know who I'm talking about. Our good homie, you know what I'm saying? How can I flip this and not say any names, but it's a order in how things I believe should go in a marriage. You know what I'm saying? Or in a relationship. Right. Specifically a marriage, because relationships, is not committed. Anything can go. But, in a marriage or in a relationship, I think the best thing is for the woman to follow the man, right? The woman to follow the man, or at least the man set a standard, and therefore they kind of go off that. Right. And so when that order is off track, indirectly in that situation, you can be emasculated, I think. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I think in certain situations where it's out of order, you know what I'm saying, it can indirectly be, a man can be indirectly emasculated just off of just the situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, I guess, necessarily intended, but at the end of the day, the way that couple or marriage flows is kind of out of order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just kind of wanted to kind of hit on that, or we can just kind of go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying that this goes back to like one of the earlier points you were making when you were talking about like the single parent home and why is it like that. Like, we've talked about this before, but like that goes all the way back to like Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. That was not designed for everybody. That was designed for us. Yep. The reason why now they've gone against it is because it seemed like everybody using it except for us. Like, we still doing what we do, but like everybody else going and, nixing it out. But I don't want to misquote Henry Kissinger, but he was the vice president to Richard Nixon. But one of the things he in essence said to Nixon is that in order to basically run our community, we've got to push abortion, we've got to push welfare, single parent homes, and we've got to push homosexuality and lesbianism within the black community. And so in order to do that, I mean, up until now, I would say maybe the last 10, 15 years, like now sometimes you see a big Terry Crews looking dude and it's like, oh, he gay. Like, but prior to that, generally the impression that you had of a homosexual male was he was acting like he was very effeminate. Yeah. You know, he, to your point, emasculate. He was emasculate. He acted like a woman. A lot of his characteristics and traits were feminine, and that, so a real masculine, open, gay dude was the exception. That wasn't the rule. Like when we was growing up, you didn't see somebody that looked like Mike Tyson or Rampage Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And was openly just like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm trying to, with these baby old boys, like, you didn't see that. That wasn't common. It was generally the guy like, remember that movie Low Down Dirty Shame? Jada Pinkett's homeboy, Wayman. Like, that was the impression that people had of, a gay man when we was growing up.
Yeah.
And so you see that agenda was being pushed, but you got to understand why it's being pushed, because 50s, 60s, 70s, you had the Medgar Evers, you had Malcolm X, you had,
MLK.
Right, Michael King. I'm gonna call him by his birth name.
Yeah.
His birth name is actually Michael King, not Martin Luther. Like that's a whole nother. We ain't even going down there.
For sure,
hole.
I'm with you.
But you had those guys. You had the Stokely Carmichaels, the Huey Newtons, the Bobby Seals, which were the Black Panthers, the Fred Hamptons. You had all of these strong black leaders, and they had strong families. They were building strong family units. So, in the same way, like during the slave times, like how did you get everybody in line? They had several ways. You get the biggest, baddest slave, you beat him into submission, you beat him to death. Or you quarter him, which is where they would tie both his arms and legs to 4 different horses. They either fire a gun or hit a whip, and all the horses run in different directions. They rip the man apart. Or you've heard the term buck breaking. And what they would do, another form of emasculation, they would rape the biggest, baddest, so imagine some 6'5", 6'7" black dude being bent over, being raped by this, you know what I'm saying? It's somebody who probably was half his size. And in some cases, people taking turns raping him.
Yeah.
And so now he's humiliated in front of everybody. So now you're not going to respect him. And so what does the mom do? The mom is going to try to protect her pup. She's going to try to protect her kids, her children. So she's going to teach her daughters, respect the man, do that. But her son, she's going to do the same thing. She's going to baby him. She's going to try to do that. But now because she doesn't want her son to grow up to be that big 6'5", 6'9", because you just saw that big 6'5" dude get quartered or beaten to death or raped. You see what I'm saying? And so that was that mentality way back then. So fast forward to now, it's the same thing. When you have a strong family unit, when you have a strong household, a traditional family unit, I'm not telling nobody how to live their life, but when it's statistically proven, when you have a strong, historic family unit, like the kids are better adjusted, they do well financially. Those children are less likely to end up in jail or in negative situations.
Yeah.
Like it's better for the neighborhood. It's better for the world.
Everybody.
But to your point, the benefit of having a single mom is it helps, boost the system. And what's the system? It helps fill the prison system up. Or you got one less black man because he gets killed. You see what I'm saying? But then also, if you emasculate the men, the children that grow up, you keep them in line. They're less likely to be rebellious. They're less likely to start a revolution. They're less likely to be a troublemaker.
That's good.
You see what I'm saying? And so, generally, when you have an emasculated man, he falls in line. He's going to be docile because he's going to be more feminine. He's looking for somebody else to tell him what to do, or he's looking for somebody to follow. And following is not bad when you're following a vision. But following because you have no direction, because you don't know what to do. You don't have anything to say. You don't have anything to offer. And you're just out here looking for somebody to give you guidance. That's when it's bad.
Now, we kind of got you off track the last time, kind of when we talked about politics, but I do want to put that in there. I don't know if you saw. President Obama came out a week or two ago and was talking to black men and why they weren't all affectionately going toward Kamala. You know what I'm saying? So basically kind of like talking to black men that were also, I put out executive mindset, not only the men that were planning to vote, but also the men that were talking about sitting out. You know what I'm saying? So it's in both of our wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? So he was talking to men that were perspective, talking about voting, that were not trying to vote for Kamala, but also talking to men, black men that were talking about sitting out, and basically saying, like, paraphrasing and cliff notes, like nigga, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta stay on code. Like, she's, you know what I'm saying, have our experience and have our, you know what I'm saying, like she's come from the cloth that we come from. And so kind of what you were saying, like in trying to reel us back in 2024 time, since we can't, necessarily like noose somebody or do something like that out in the open. But
somebody who did not do anything for black people who said he wasn't black people's president, he was everybody's president. Somebody who's like that does not have a right to tell black people what they should be doing. Correct. And you did not do anything go ahead. For black people. So again, and you know me, I'm not Republican or Democrat. So I don't. Right. I mean, and I get what you're saying. I understand the point. I heard of that, and I even saw. I reposted when you posted we made Master Obama mad. Yeah. Like somebody who said, "I'm not black people president. I'm everybody's president," and you did something for every group of people except for this group of people.
His legacy was the alphabet community.
Right.
That's his legacy, the LGBTQ, when he did the rainbow in the White House and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So
I mean, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I just be righteous about it. Just say this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I hate when people say, "Oh, I'm not trying to do that." Like again, we don't have a problem with any individual person or group.
Yeah.
We just want people to be honest, keep it a buck.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I would not have a problem with Vice President Harris if she just come out and say, "Look, I am an Indian woman." Yes, thank you. Yeah. But you sitting up here, first of all, nobody washes their greens in the bathtub.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Not one that you take a bath in. Like maybe you order a tub off Amazon.
You get a tub. You get a
you know what I'm
big
saying?
Old tub.
Yeah, a basin, and that's what you get. That's what you bought it for.
Right. You don't get something that
you bathed in.
Yeah, that somebody washed themselves in. Kids, you talking about you been out in the fields, you know what I'm saying, being out in the dirt, being out, if you're a factory worker, you know what I'm saying, like, we talking about dirt.
I mean, like,
accumulating.
Look, you don't even have to be dirty per se. You know the ring around the tub and everything, that's your dead skin.
Yep.
You could be in the house and you take a bath or a shower or whatever, you be like, I've been in the house all day. That's your skin, your dead skin flaking out like we shed our skin. Like, so still, like, and you put greens in there? No, you ain't never made no green, sweetheart. That was just you trying to connect. Let's not get off subject.
Yes, that was clearly like trying to relate and do all that stuff. But to the emasculation part, that's what I was trying to get at from the political point of view, as far as, getting black people back on the Democratic, whatever plantation. And so, and also on that front too, and I think I mentioned this before, whether people agree with Trump or not, the main reason a lot of black men or other men, period, are more leaning toward Trump is because of his masculinity. Like I said, whether you agree with his temperament or whatever or not, his masculinity, as far as like standing on what he say he's gonna stand on.
He's toxic.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. He's toxic. You know what I'm saying? Which, like I said, I'm not here to say what somebody else think. I know the narrative. Obviously, I don't agree with the narrative, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make to the point of emasculated men has been so prominent, especially over the last 4 or 5 years or so, to where now we have this figure like a Trump that's like more masculine, more like he doesn't change when he kind of goes to different rooms. He is who he is. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like you in a sense, Rag. Like, you know what I'm saying? You are who you are, right? You're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? If we had Pass Them All sitting right here, you're gonna have that drink in your hand right there regardless. You know what I'm saying? Not just because we got a clergy in the room.
And he said he want me to have. He said no. He said I need you to be you.
Yeah.
Oh, and AK said the same thing. Not Alan King, but Pastor King, Anthony King.
Okay.
He's like, nah. He said y'all need to have y'all cup. He's like, he said I need that real. I'm like, okay, bet.
Okay. Well, hey, don't say it if you don't mean it.
Oh yeah, we gonna have them on.
Okay.
We gotta have them on.
Yeah. So I talked to Pastor Moss today, actually.
Man, that's what's up.
So, but yeah. So my point is that when you have phrases like we just said, happy wife, happy life, when you have institutions like you said, you brought up all the way back from slavery, and then you move into the 2000s and stuff where you got your boss chicks, you got your independent women, you got whatever other term, queen. What's up, queen?
Yes!
You know what I'm saying? Yes. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff, to where, like, I'm just going to keep it all the straight biblical. Like, at the end of the day, I agree. Like, obviously we're both married. I agree with partnership, right? But partnership is not like, it's more like, is who's in front, the president or the vice president? Who's in front?
No, the president.
Who's in front, right? And so when you think of partnership, the way it is being presented out there in the public or to society is like, oh, we're side to side. We have equal say. We have, your word is just as good as my word. And that is true to a degree, right? But at the end of the day, who got the final say? You know what I'm saying? That's the president and that's the vice president. But even as, like I was saying, people try to gospelize it to where it's like, no, we're equals in this piece. Like, no, we're not equal. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it sounds harsh, right? It sounds bad when you say it, but you know what I'm saying? This society has, convinced men, has convinced women that, I'm just as important or valuable in a relationship, in a marriage, as a man. And that's true, because everybody, even when you're talking about teams, sports teams, you're a star in your role. Right. You're a star in your role. That doesn't diminish your role. That's just saying that in whatever capacity that you are providing for that man or providing for that relationship, that's what I think. One of the things I sent you too on the gram, and the lady was asked. I was gonna play one of them too. I don't think it was that one, but she was asked, if a man asks you what you bring to a relationship, what you gonna say?
Right. Yeah, I remember.
You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I'm gonna bring whatever that's needed to the table. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I thought that was kind of an interesting answer, because I've never heard that answer come from a woman.
I've never heard a woman say that.
I've never heard that, right? And so
the only time I've heard a woman apologize is in that Monica song, Before You Walk Out of My Life.
Yeah.
You remember that second verse where she said she was apologizing for the things she'd like?
Yeah.
That's the only time I heard a woman apologize.
Oh, Anita Baker.
You're right.
You're right.
Right. You're right. I forgot about that one.
But it's very.
But it goes back to like with that post you were talking about. Like, that is not a typical answer
at all
that the fairer sex would give.
No, because at the end, whatever you need to bring to the table, just like if a man, okay, he's my leader, okay, but if I think she brought up the analogy, if he got everything, he got the plates, he got the fork, he got the spoons, and we need some napkins and some cups, I'm gonna bring some napkins and some cups. I'm not gonna try to, my napkins are more prettier than your, you know what I'm saying? And so, and that's the whole thing now with. I think what's it called, the red pill community,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, okay, we can look at this. Some of that stuff have went kind of overboard,
right? To Andrew
Tate, you know what I'm saying? Like we get that. Like,
I ain't gonna lie, I rock with Kevin Samuels, but
I like Kevin Samuels. Yeah. We both kind of rock with him, right? And so, but we kind of we chewed the meat, we spit the bones out,
right?
You know what I mean? We didn't say we agree with every single thing that he said or how he approached it, but the overall generalization of what he was bringing to the table, we was like,
right. The essence of what he was saying, like, a lot of times we get caught up, we get so caught up in the way something sounds, and we don't pause for a second, not pause the way y'all niggas be doing it, because I don't ever
not the pause.
Oh no, I was gonna say something about that clip I sent you. And man, I don't know if we're going to have time to talk about it today, but what I sent you, that post about the dude said what I mean, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't pause to say, wait a second, like, what's actually being said? I remember I told Chick once where I said, like, I'm not going to do something to boost your ego, and she was offended. And so I had to break it down. I was like, no. I was like, ego is another way for ego is feelings. I was like, look, and she was like, well, I don't agree with that. I said, you don't have to agree. I said, that ain't my definition. I said, that's Merriam-Webster's definition. I said, that generally the way we use words and define words, like we look them up from somewhere. I was like, so if somebody, you could say, oh, he's in his ego, you could take out ego and put he's in his feelings. Or when somebody say you hurt my feelings, you could take feelings out and put the word ego there. Because that's what it is. You hurt my ego. You see what I'm saying? So hurt feelings, hurt ego is the same thing. So you say somebody got a big ego, that mean they really feeling themselves, right? That's the same. Oh, he feeling himself. He got a big ego. It's the same thing. But she heard the word ego, and she went home run. She took it and ran it. And in the same way, we get so caught up sometimes in we don't understand what's being said. We don't like a particular word. Perfect example, like now you can't say the word retarded. Retarded means, look it up, it means slow. Now they like to say, oh, he's developmentally delayed. When something has a delay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's slow.
It's slow.
So we trying to make it sound cute for what?
Yeah.
And it don't have to be offensive unless it's meant to be offensive.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the emasculation thing, because now we live in an age to where now as a man you can't say anything. You can't do anything. Going back to like your pops, you can't be who you are because you're too worried about who you're going to offend.
What they going to say. Yeah, what they going to say. And so when you have stuff like this in the society, and plus the environment we come out in, you know, we spoke, like I said, in bits and pieces, even the church. The church has did a real good job of emasculating men to a degree too, because not only you know, women are always kind of up front, you know, or they're running the church or whatever, to where you don't necessarily want to have a message that runs them away. Because if you have a message that runs them away, that is too masculine, that is too strong, right? Now they gonna leave. Once they leave, the children leave. And once they leave, probably the husband gonna go too.
Right.
And so that's why some of the part I was talking about gospelizing it, because a lot of, you know, women are, you know, catered to in that sense, given obviously with the Me Too, the cancel culture and all this stuff, to where now it's very like men. I know men are very, you know, taken back, or real shy about expressing themselves in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like the word, what they say, toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? And so really, and I looked this up because I was looking, you know, I Googled certain stuff just to kind of get more, just my thought, but just kind of like the regular term. But really, when you look at toxic masculinity, it's in reverse, it's really toxic femininity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's really kind of like the woman trying to take away the strength of the man and avoid her of having any kind of accountability.
Accountability, right.
You know what I'm saying? So when
to give herself an ego boost.
Or even a ego boost. And so, and me, I had a conversation with, you know, a friend not too long ago, and she was telling me about how she thinks male egos are demonic or like sinful or something, right? But I told her like you wouldn't get your husband or your dude if he didn't have no ego,
right?
If he had no swag. The problem is not a man having an ego; it's a man having elevated egos. And it's not a problem with a woman having emotions or feelings. It's just when she's driven by them, that's where the problem comes about, right? And so we had that conversation, and she kind of like, you know. Then I actually sent her to. Tony Evans actually had a message talking about this, and he was like, it's okay for a woman to feed her man's ego.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the problem is not the ego. The problem is when it gets, you know, when it gets into pride. Right. I think ego and pride, it can be a fine line, right?
Well, I mean, this is like the difference between being cocky and being arrogant.
Correct. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like you got guys like for example, T.O. was cocky. Now, sometimes he could be arrogant. Like when he talks about, oh, I could beat this person in track. Like, dude, you didn't run track. Like, let's stop. Yeah. But now you talking about running them routes, being that guy, catching passes.
Yeah.
If I would have had this quarterback, I would have did that. Like that's just cocky. That ain't arrogance. Right. He proved it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's top 3 in every cat. Like that's proven. Like when you hear Ocho talk about the stuff he did, like dude got 11,000 receiving yards and like 70 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And pretty much he did that within the he had an 11-year career, but like his first 2 years he didn't do nothing. So basically he did that within the span of like 8 or 9 years.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like again, that's cocky, but arrogance. I ain't never played basketball, but I'm gonna beat Jordan.
No.
Oh man, Derrick Rose ain't nothing. I'll take him, and you can't shoot in the trash can. That's arrogance, and there's a difference between being cocky, which is extreme proven confidence, to the point that it can be borderline annoying.
Yeah, it can be.
But it's extreme, but proven. And everybody we love, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Deion Sanders, those are cocky dudes, but it's extreme and it's proven. They got the receipts to back it up.
I don't know if you saw a podcast with Jeff T. Derrick Rose was on there last week, I think. And Derrick Rose was talking about how even when he was at Memphis or even when he first got to the Bulls, it was like he felt, even growing up, he felt something was wrong with him because he was so confident. And so he felt that line of arrogance and cocky. Like when he said that the year he won the MVP, he said, if you remember the before the season, they had a interview before the season started. He was like, "I'm gonna win the MVP," right? He was like, when he broke the walls off that, he felt something good because now his teammates was getting on him and like dog, no, be you.
Right.
What happened with Memphis in 08 when we broke the walls off the season is when Calipari was like, no, go. Right. You take over the team, because the first 10 games he was kind of like just kind of like, oh no, I'm this freshman, let me pass it to Antonio Anderson and Robert CDR, you know what I'm saying? But then it was like
Joey Dorsey.
Yeah, he was like, but he was like in the NCAA tournament when he went off against Texas, Michigan State, UCLA, you know what I'm saying? He was like, no, we need you to be that dog. You know what I'm saying? So he took off, and you can say the most Christian dude in the NBA, a lot of people say Steph Curry. You can't be as good as he is and shoot as good as he does without having some type of ego.
No, and he talk trash.
Yeah, clearly. And so and stuff like that, to where now I think I do believe a lot of women think that a man shouldn't have an ego. But a man's ego is actually what attracted you to him at the end of the day. Most women, you know what I'm saying? They're attracted to the man's ego. They're attracted to his swag. They're attracted to him that he is masculine.
His confidence.
Yeah, his confidence, right? And so when it comes to all that stuff, like, society tries to tear those men down, or even in the movies and entertainment. That's another way the society and media tries to break down men. Even in today, wifey wanted to watch. We watched Black Panther 2 downstairs last week.
Oh, the movie about the Mexicans.
Huh?
Yeah.
The Mexicans? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Black Panther 2. Wakanda Forever. The movie about the Mexicans.
The Mexicans? What are you talking about? Educate me. What's up?
Yeah. Like, who was the main character in Black Panther 2?
Okay, I know. Okay, you talking. Okay.
Namor, the Submariner. Yeah. The movie was about the underwater Mexicans.
That's right.
That was essentially what it was. You just called it Black Panther.
That's true. I never looked at it like that. I never looked at it.
And then, like, for the most part, all the men gone. Except for the man that was over the gorilla tribe. Y'all keep M'Baku, who just happened to be over the Jabari tribe, but their god was the gorilla god. So you keep the monkey black men.
But even he was like super weak in the movie.
Right. They made him They made him docile.
Yeah. They made him like
so
that.
Again, again, like, that's the woman king. Same thing. Like, you.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
That was just no. You hit it right on the head. I didn't even think about it from that standpoint. But yeah, they did have the water community down there and had the little stuff. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but
they was the main characters in Black Panther.
Right.
You made a movie.
Right.
And not that there's anything wrong with it, but I mean, it should have been called, like, I don't know, Mexican Panther or...
Yeah.
I was finna say something, but we ain't got started yet to be getting canceled, so I'm gonna keep that to myself.
It is.
I'll tell y'all camera, but I'm just saying, like, that's essentially what it was. Like, those people are kind of Hispanic, Mexican looking.
Yeah. And the whole part to where now you see in that whole movie, the women were taking over. The women were taking masculine positions as far as taking over the community, taking over, you know what I'm saying, that land, you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that. I think it kind of preps, to me, they're trying to prep the mind of the audience and prep the mind of who was that movie for, like pretty much our community, right? And so when I look at stuff like that, and then you see kind of where we are now, people trying to prep people to get ready for a quote-unquote black woman president, to where now...
What black woman president?
Well, that's why I said
it's a black woman,
quote unquote. Yeah, it is.
Who?
It is
Where?
a black.
Where?
Kamala.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Now, look, again, I don't have a problem with anybody's ethnicity, but just say who you are. Like, one of my oldest and we've gotten closer as the years have gone on, homeboys, my homeboy Nod. Nod is straight up Indian. Now, he's from the hood.
Yeah.
Like if you hear him talk and see all his friends and everything, I don't know that Anad has any Indian friends.
Yeah. But
I want to say all of Anad's friends are black. It had Anad pledged the fraternity, he probably would have been a Noop or something. Like he could have did that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen Anad date a woman that wasn't. Every woman Anad has dated has been black. So I ain't gonna say he got more black in him, but he's probably been inside more black. No, I'm just playing. But Anad is like host a barbecue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not just invited, but Anad ain't never shied away from. He will tell you. And it was a running joke when we was growing up because he's like his dad was a Hindu and his mom was a Baptist. And he told me recently like she been going breath for the past few months.
Okay.
But Anad is not ashamed of who he is, and nobody looks at him sideways or you trying to be this or not. We never accuse him of being anything because he is confident in who he is. He's at peace with who he is, and we respect that because we at peace with it. So you can't help but respect it. But now if Anad was trying to pass off like, and like, dude, we done seen your mom like ain't nobody like. You may got some. We all got somebody down the line.
Yeah, we all. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like we talking about, you go back to your parents, you go back to your grandparents, you go back to your like when you get past your great grandparents, like just stop it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now your great grandparents were Indian, your grandparents were Indian, your parents are Indian. It's like, oh, he was Jamaican. No, he was you look at him. We're Americans that don't have a skin tone. It's South Africans that look like Todd.
Yep.
But they Africans.
Yep, they are. Yeah.
Because they're from Africa. He was in Jamaica, but he was a German, Irish, Indian. Like, it was something weird like that. But, like, come on, man. So, now, again, I don't have no problem with her as a person. I don't have a problem with any woman running, if that's what you want to do. I do have a problem. Because, like I said, when I see her, every time I see her, I see Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. You just a dude disguised as another dude playing another dude. Or maybe your dude doesn't know he's a dude. Like, that's what I see.
Yeah.
I see an Indian woman in blackface.
Yeah. Now, that's why I put the things in quotes, because that's where...
And watch we get flagged for me spreading misinformation.
Hey, no, because we don't put it in the thumbnail. You know what I mean? That was my fault the last time on that. But, okay, so you made that point with that. So we know we brought up the happy wife, happy life, the toxic masculinity. We know that stuff has started infiltrating like the church. Movies and entertainment. We know we can name plethora of movies where men wear dresses, or even go back to the cat interview with Shay. You know what I'm saying? That he brought up a lot of stuff to where now, like I said, you could say somebody's playing a character, but at the end of the day, those that are puppeteering and doing all the stuff ahead, it does something to a man's Madea. She's on the thumbnail.
That's why I had it in my contract. If he's going to be in a movie with me, he has to play a woman.
Every time.
What was his next movie? Was it First Sunday? Did he not play a woman? I rest my case.
Yeah. And there were receipts.
I mean, you know what, dude? You brought up Madea. Like, I don't have a problem with a man dressing up as a woman or a woman dressing up as a man if it's parody. If you're making fun of something.
Yeah.
When I see like Big Mama's House, when I see Madea, it's not parody. It's like you're paying an homage to somebody.
Yeah.
It's like I'm acting like, oh, this is my grandma. This is my auntie. This is somebody who raised me. You're not making fun of that. It's not something that's so ridiculous. Like, case in point, white chicks. that was again but it was parody.
Yeah.
It's like they were clearly making fun. They were not making an homage to it.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, even to the point like when you look at Madea, you look at Big Mama's house. They just look like some old, fat, unattractive black women. You look at white shit like they didn't even look like. You know what I'm saying? It looked like some dudes with some makeup on.
Yeah, they look fake.
And so, but these are the same guys who made Don't Be a Menace, Scary Movie. Again, is it the best representation? No, but I understand parody. I understand you making fun of something.
The content. Now,
you see what I'm saying?
Let me ask you, because I've argued with a couple of people about this, and they've said about the other examples like Madea and Big Mama's house, and they tried to put Miss Doubtfire in it. And I was telling them, like, I think that's different because if you look at the context of the movie, he's trying to see his kids. Right. He's making up to be like a maid. You know what I'm saying? To be around his kids, you know what I'm saying? Like right. I think that context is different from what you were talking about. It's right. not just like, you know, when people say like, oh, men in dresses, they'll point out Kevin Hart, Ricky Smiley, or whoever else. Then they'll go, oh, white man did it too. Mrs. Doubtfire, Robin Williams. You know what I mean? I'm just like, but you got to look at the context, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of the movie to be like. Okay, but if you look at the context, this man was so in love with his family and really tried to get back with his ex-wife to where he was willing right. to act like he was.
Yeah, he knew he fucked up when she started dating James Bond. It was over with.
It was a wrap.
Like, wait a second, ain't that James Bond? It's over with.
It was a wrap. It was a wrap with that. But so yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So I do think.
I mean, and it is. It is everybody talk about Flip Wilson, like the old school variety show.
Yep.
He played the character Geraldine. Geraldine was parody.
Yeah.
He was not trying to be taken serious as I'm a woman. He was making fun of
women
that, and it was funny.
Yeah.
Right? Like Martin as Shanae, it was parody.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx's Wanda was parody. Now, do I agree? Like, should you always do that? I don't think so.
Right,
but
right.
I understand the difference between parody and homage. When an homage is like you're honoring somebody. And so now, if I'm going to honor somebody, you can get you could have put Queen Latifah in some makeup, and she could have been. I could see Queen Latifah as Madea.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, or Jill Scott.
Jill Scott, yep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, but sometimes it don't even have to be somebody who got their body. Like, if you just age them up, you know what I'm saying? Like I could see Taraji doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's certain women. Angela Bassett. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my girl, everybody, auntie, Jennifer Lewis.
Jennifer Lewis.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, but I could see them being an older, whatever. Doing that if you're gonna do an homage, but if you're making parody, which Madea is not, because the thing is like this supposed to come off like this is a real live black woman. That's the energy that like you want it to be taken seriously, even though it's a comedy. You want us to respect that you're conveying this character, and that's kind of where it gets tricky. Especially in this emasculation thing, because it's not like, oh well, he making fun. Or she making it like it's like you expect to be taken seriously.
Yeah. And so, and when the whole, and the whole point of it, when it comes back into the whole emasculation, it's what it does to the environment, what it does to the culture, what it does. You know what I'm saying? Even, we can go as far as even the court system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We talk about the court system and how, like judges in the court system emasculates the man. You know what I'm saying? As far as you want to talk about child support, you want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? If a woman says that you beat her, like you're guilty. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have to prove that
you're gonna have to prove it. A hell of a lot more being a man, let alone a black man with that. And so, and then we know. And we talked about these people before on the pod, the Pivot, the Pivot podcast. Shout out to those guys. I don't watch as much. I will admit as anymore because one of the reasons I think they pander to women a little bit too much, especially Ryan Clark. I don't know what episode
got
it
that
was.
ESPN money, man.
Yeah, he does. He's corporate now, officially corporate. He, doing all those shows, leading Get Up and all that stuff. Like, what were they talking about? It was an episode he was talking about Andrew Schultz said something about black women or something like that, and how they act and do it like that. And so they had a whole podcast about Ryan Clark. Oh, it's not funny. My mom woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning doing all this. I'm just like, bro, like, he's a comedian. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were laughing about it. And so it just seemed to me like he was trying to make a moment out of something that was made light. You know what I'm saying? And trying to,
You're trying to go viral off of something that might not even been viral in the first place.
And I just like, come on, man. Like, trying to get the clout, trying to get the favor. At the end of the day, we know women outnumber men. So, at the end of the day, it makes sense to have women in your favor. Right. I can't front. And that's what I was talking about even with the content creators. We can come on here and say all the things we think women would like, would enjoy, would agree with us with. Right. But then, like I said, how you get them is how you got to keep them. You know what I'm saying? So we get a big old crowd. We get 30,000 people, 50,000 people subscribe to us because we're being inauthentic. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to work for me. And I know it's not going to work for you.
I mean, but we'll have to keep being inauthentic just in order to keep them.
Right. Let's say if we're making a living doing that. And so now we can't just automatically flip because now they're looking for all this. Let's say we're like Andrew Tate on this red pill stuff. And so now we got to keep making this type of content in order to keep the stuff in. Right. So it just makes more sense to really, just kind of even be yourself and just, I brought up the Pivot podcast because I think that's one of the ways too that men have been emasculating other men because now when they pander to the woman or even the black woman to a sense, now they're making a standard. So now if a woman's watching it, it's like, oh, you see Ryan saying this or, you know what I'm saying, Taylor saying this, Chad saying this, Crowder saying this.
These are, what is it? These are, what's the term? Was it high value?
High value.
These are men. High value men.
Yeah. So, and so a lot of stuff like that is really, I think, taken away to emasculate men as well because they're trying to put all men in this one category. And if you're not like this, if you're not honoring black women like this in this way, it's an issue. And, in another way I wanted to bring up, I don't know how you think about this. We talked about mental health before, mental health therapy specifically. And I'm with it. I think a few years ago I was kind of more so against it, but I had a behavioral therapist that I've been seeing myself, or went to go see. You know what I'm saying? Just to clear some things up. So I'm not against it. I think if it's in its proper place.
What's a behavioral therapist for the people that don't know?
This is from what I know. Behavioral therapist is a therapist that specializes in your emotions, your feelings, or let's say you have an addiction or a habit that you're trying to like get away from. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they specialize in, right? Okay. And so
not the Cornelius episode, is it?
Something like that. It has something to do with it. Look, it started there.
I was playing.
No, but it surrounds that. But my point, what I'm trying to make, is that I don't see anything necessarily wrong with therapy. I think there's a place for therapy, but I think a part of the way the culture, especially even the black culture or the society in general, is trying to emasculate men is like, what's emasculation? We break it down. Emasculation is taking away the strength of the man, pretty much, right? So a man is a leader. He's a problem solver. Right. He's not driven by his feelings. And so now, what is therapy? Therapy is literally, it's kind of in the woman's wheelhouse as far as emotions, vulnerability, and breaking down all the aspects of that.
Somebody else,
right? And so, if it's out of the context of where it needs to be, I think, and a lot of times I think therapy is an idol to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I think we both agree where that's where a lot of people are, because a lot of people, they're more adaptive to the therapy and don't know the scriptures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know the word, but they know they triggers. You know what I'm saying? They know, you know what I'm saying, when something hit them wrong and they doing stuff like that. And so it's all about position and place for me. And so I think the mental health and the whole therapy thing has did a good job of emasculating men, not because it's wrong, but because a lot of people have it out of place, have it out of position to where they need to be. You know what I mean? So what you think about that? Because I know how you kind of look at the whole therapy situation.
Again, I'm more so for counseling.
Yeah.
Than therapy. You know, because scripture talks about, you know, a wise man heeds, you know, counsel. And all through Proverbs it talks about, you know, before you're making decisions, you know, you got to get the counsel of different people.
Different counselors.
And so, like, when you think about that, a counselor is somebody giving you direction. You're going to that person, you're being vulnerable and saying, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how I'm supposed to handle or navigate this situation. And they will steer you in the right, you know, direction or help you navigate it. Whereas a lot of times from what I've seen and even experienced, a therapy session is just you reiterating or rehashing or repeating what your problems are. And so when I get through, like, I don't feel better. That's some TV shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if I told you right now, oh, my toe about to fall off, and you, man, that's good, Rochelle. You opened up, and I'm like, man, I feel great. No, I'm still hurting. Probably ain't got no balance. You know what I'm saying? And I just gave you some vulnerable information, and then what?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now when you come back next week and you ask me how am I feeling, nigga, I'm still about to fall over. If it ain't for these crutches, I'm still about to fall on my face.
Yeah.
And my toe still hurt, you know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of what the therapy did. Like, how do you feel? And what are you thinking now? And what are you doing that? And that's cool. But if you're not giving me anything, you know, on the back end.
Yeah.
If I come to you for a year or 3 or 5 and it's just, oh, I'm feeling this way, and you asking me good talk same time next week, what is that solving? As opposed to you saying like, okay, Roche, like I know you going through this, but I'm gonna need for you to get up, man up, like go this direction, make it happen.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Saying?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think because, like I said, I think there's a place actually even for therapy, but everything to me is about position. Because like I said, it's not even about the women not having a voice. You know what I'm saying? It's about the role and, you know what I'm saying, in a situationship or relationship or marriage that it's supposed to be. So it's just, everything is about position. So when therapy is up here, when you're more fluid in therapy than you are as believers than in the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, everything just going to be out of whack and not really kind of be where it needs to be. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And also, I did want to bring up, too, because I know even about the emasculation in today, because we both raised kids. We got a lot of kids. You know what I'm saying? Between us, I don't know. We got
enough.
A lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of kids. So, given that, I had to give EJ a tongue lashing the day before his game today, and actually had one of his best games of the season. You know what I'm saying? So, I think even in today with kids, especially with boys, you got to be hard on them. You got to be, you know what I'm saying?
Hard but fair.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be hard but fair. You know what I mean? You have to get on them to the degree to where it may not, the counterpart or the mother or the lady and may not like it. You know what I'm saying?
Can't
and
be worried about that.
You know, so, but that's another thing too. I know a lot of men that don't necessarily parent their child or male child to a certain degree because of how it's going to rub the woman the wrong way. You know what I mean? Whether that's,
I mean, even some, like, I know some that don't do any of their children like that, the male or the female child, because to your point, it's like, I don't want to hear her mouth, or I don't want to be back in court, or she ain't going to give me nothing, like whatever the case may be.
Might not give you none.
Right, yeah. You capping for her.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because, a lot of men do emasculate themselves because they want some pussy. You know what I'm saying? I can't get none if I go here, if I say this, even if it's right. So, that's another part of emasculating men, because we want what we want, and we know if we don't appease the woman's feelings, you know what I'm saying, we can't get any.
Right, man.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
nah, that rules the nation.
Not, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, and so I do want to end with that. I don't know if I want to get into the respect thing with black women, because I know that's gonna go down a whole nother hole. Which
what about the other thing? Or you want to wait?
What's up?
The
You talking
clip
about
the post I sent you.
Yeah, go ahead and say it.
About,
You got
so,
it?
Yeah. So I'm gonna read the
because it was from a Facebook post, right?
Uh-huh.
It was a Facebook post
one of my
that one of your friends said or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
One of my old schoolmates from the good old Raleigh, Egypt had posted it.
Raleigh, Egypt.
And and then when you was talking about the Derrick Rose thing on him being on
Jeff T podcast.
I don't
even know what his podcast is called, but it's dope.
Yeah, he's an awesome storyteller.
He is, man.
But shout out to Coach Mo Miller. Yeah, because he talked about how when Derrick Rose when Simeon played a team from Memphis, he said, "Man, I forget the team." He said, "Man, but they had another guard and he was cooking. He went to Georgia Tech. Man, he dropped like 40." And they were talking about Mo, and then somebody said in there like, "Oh, Miller, like yeah, Mo Miller." But they was talking about when he played Derrick Rose, like he dropped like 40 that game, or he had a lot of points. They might have been, I don't know that they was looking at the box score, so I don't know if he did or did not literally have 40. But when they played each other, when they were seniors in high school, they went at it. You know what I'm saying?
Because Mo graduated 07, right?
They were the same. Yeah, they were the same. Him and D Rose were the same year. Okay. D Rose freshman year at Georgia Tech was Mo's freshman year. I mean, D Rose freshman year at Memphis was Mo's freshman year at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Alrighty, where is this post at? Because I want to read it. So the guy's name, and I don't know this guy. We gonna give you some 15 minutes of fame. His name is Larry Browning, or Larry Browning.
Yeah.
And he said that as men, we are all bisexual. If we're not already sleeping with other men, it is a secret desire we have. I am speaking for all, in all caps, men. So, I ask you, Brother JB, do you have a secret desire to sleep with other men?
Not at all. And honestly, I wonder sometimes. Sometimes I ask my wife when we watch some of these shows we watch, whether that's on Netflix or regular TV. Mm-hmm. He's like, how can you rub up against another man romantically, touching a man's body,
right?
Men's body. I mean, obviously, as you get older, are built differently. Obviously, as you get older, and get a little soft, but you got shoulders. You got I'm a rub on a dude,
hard ass shoulder blade.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, with a woman, like how can you have had a soft, marshmallowy woman,
right?
And then be like, nah, I'm gonna take the desire. That's the one I messed up on. Having desire, at the end of the day, I know about the whole porn situation. Like, the more you can watch porn, you're kind of watching a man,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So, so you kind of, as you're watching a woman, you are watching a man's genitalia. So, but to desire it though,
yeah.
I can't.
I mean, and so for him saying he's speaking for all men, I don't know what men he runs with.
I don't know either.
I don't have a problem with any individual person who professes to be a homosexual or a lesbian or a bisexual or bi-curious or whatever the hell you
homophobe.
I don't have a problem with you as an individual. I do have a problem with that behavior for me.
Correct.
I don't even like to be constipated.
You
know what I'm saying? I don't even like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with
you sitting there like that. You know how uncomfortable that is?
Yeah.
So I like when you eat certain foods and you get gas and you about to, so you try to go to the bathroom or step outside or something. I don't ever want my booty to be so loose to where I can fart and don't know I farted. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only one sitting in the room and I'm like, who was that? Nigga, you're the only one here. It's you, loose booty. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's just a personal thing. as much as I enjoy kicking it with my homeboys and my fellas, it's not anything romantic or sexual. Mm-mm. The benefit of men and women will say, "Oh, why you want to be around your homeboys?" It's the same reason like when you see little kids, like you have a commonality, and you don't have to entertain them. So the benefit, and you've been around like with the people that I kick it with in my circle, I've been around the people that's in, right. Man, yeah, like you might have one homeboy, and we got a mutual homeboy. Mm. Stuart will sit there and be quiet for 2 or 3 hours,
easy,
but be having the time of his life.
Yep.
And we're glad he's there, and he ain't said a word sometimes.
Yeah. The presence.
You see what I'm saying? Just the like that, and that's like we don't have to entertain nobody. We're not worried about am I living up to this person's standards, or if it ain't going this way, is JB gonna be mad at me? No, we could just real live watch the game, relax, go to a bar, smoke a cigar, talk for 2 or 3 hours, kick shit, and like we're good, and it ain't nothing romantic or sexual about it. And in a lot of cases, and I've said this before, that's a better therapy session than going paying some money and sitting on somebody's couch.
Definitely can be.
You see what I'm saying? Like you talking about everything you going through. Y'all got a mutual, or you went through this 2 years ago with your, like the same thing you going through with your kids. I'm going through with my, like we can have that and then be done with it. But it is not based off of any secret sexual desires or oh man, you've been in the gym, you've been working out. Like I don't give a fuck. That ain't got shit to do with me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But like what got me about it is him saying that I'm speaking for all men.
A secret desire, he said, right?
No.
A secret desire. Like that's, and that's a part of the whole emasculation thing too, because
going back to that,
because if he thinks that, all men think that, like the key word to me is desire. When you're desire another, like, you know what I'm saying? He said bisexual, right?
Right, he said that all men want to be with another man.
Want to be bisexual, right. Like, yeah, that's that's probably obviously his circle, his circle of people. But yeah, I can't.
I mean, and it's not even, like the crazy thing about stuff like that is like, and this is where I was going, and I said this earlier, like, when we don't pause, like. And it's crazy because Damon Dash was one of the people that kind of made that. I'm not going to say he invented it, but they made it popular. He said, man, this pause shit is getting out of hand. And so think about it. Every time you say pause, that means you were thinking about whatever you pausing. So like if it's the 4th of July, you grilling, you like, man, I just got all this meat from the store. I'm about to throw this meat on the grill, man. I don't think penis.
Yeah.
I'm thinking chicken. Ribs, turkey leg, maybe some, the rag bologna.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm thinking. Some circle bees, brats, shrimp maybe. Bacon wrap shrimp. You know what I'm saying? Like when you say that, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm not pausing for shit because I don't think the only way I'm pausing is if you be like, man, I woke up and there was a dick in my ear. Like, hold up, pause. Let me, because you can't help but that when you say that, you see somebody with a wee-wee in their ear.
Yeah.
But if it's the 4th of July or Memorial Day, Veterans Day, oh, man, we grilling, man, I got all this meat. I don't think it's a dick on the grill.
Yeah.
And so now when we do this pause and stuff, what it's doing is it's making you think about whatever it is you pausing. But my question is to the person who's saying the pause, what made you think, like, was you really sitting there thinking about somebody's dick, when you said pause? Or,
right. Yeah.
And like I said, don't get it twisted. Sometimes now you can say anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I came in and I'm talking like this and I'm like, hey, JB, about to throw some meat on the grill. Like, okay, yeah, you could pause that.
Yeah. Because,
like, why did my tone just go up? Yeah. What made that so exciting that I had to be sassy when I said that?
It's kind of crazy.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because now we go from the pause era, but kind of when we was in high school, even in college, around that area, if anything was said like that, it was like, oh, that's what she said.
Right, that's what she said. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, which was like, it still was heterosexual. It was, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't even saying, oh man, we put the meat in the grill. Oh yeah, that's what she said. Right. You know what I'm saying? So now it's not even what she said. Now it's just a whole pause.
Well, I mean, and it's it was meant to be. Because, like I said, we've sat in situations with people where, like, they gonna make you say pause.
Yeah.
I mean, nah, my nigga, you need to pause that, bro.
Yeah.
It's not on the that's what she said, which is literally meant to just be funny.
Right.
And hilarious. If nobody laughs, the person who said that's what she said will keep it moving.
Yeah.
But we've been in some situations where we out, you know, and generally it's another chick or something. She's like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. That's what she said. And we laugh because we know.
Right,
and she looking, y'all something mature.
Yeah.
But again, the purpose of that is parody. It's meant to be funny.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. So I'm totally with you on that. It's no way that even wifey sometimes call me, you know, you think you a homophobe or something like that. Because even a lot of times we watch a film or a movie and be a gay scene, I'm turning away, I'm fast forwarding, I'm pausing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even.
And she's sitting up there engaged in it.
Yeah, she looking at it. She like, oh, it's like, why don't you look at that? It's different when the women. Yes, it is different. It is. It's different. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, it's no way. I try to. I don't say I don't try to understand, but I don't get how another man can rub on another man.
Yeah, no, I'm straight.
If you've already experienced the latter, because some dudes I already know. If you never experienced it and that's all you know, it's different. But if you have experienced a woman, the fragrance of a woman, the softness of a woman, the wetness of a woman, like, how can you go from there and then now go back to a rugged nigga? Like, it's just, it don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me at all. So, but yeah, man.
I mean, it's you said it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I wish I got it, but I don't get it, and I don't know that we'll ever get it.
No, we shouldn't get it. We shouldn't get it. Honestly, if we do get it, then we might need to have another conversation. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I want to end that because I want to get this out to the people, man. Then, you know, maybe the next time we'll get into the disrespectful women, the black women thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but we actually talking about real black women, right?
Real black women.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, real black women.
Not black women by association who, you know, pledge black sororities, wash their greens in the bathroom.
No, not those.
Okay.
Real ones.
Chucks and pearls, not, you know,
Never that. Y'all, until next time, continue with that executive mindset.
And most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.